Welcome, Virgo, to the month of your month, September 2018. I'm Megan of North Star Astrology, and this is another general transits reading for those of you born with your sun, moon, and or rising signs in the 6th sign of Virgo. And here I have somewhat of a virgin goddess. I added this to perch atop Earth, and you are here. And one more thing I wanted to add is that at the end of the reading, I'm going to be sharing with you a basic, simple artwork plus your positive characteristics and or attributes and or your negative characteristics and or traits to let go, and all other information at the end of the video. And so with that, let's begin. So the month of September starts out on September 2nd at 5 hours 58 minutes with Mars having been transiting your 5th house of romance and creativity in Capricorn, and then trining or making a 120-degree flowing aspect to the moon in your 9th house. So from the 9th to the 5th houses, you now have the ability to emotionally and perhaps philosophically harmonize with your actions within whatever it is you are romantically or creatively involved in. So something emotional. Perhaps you'll take your romantic interest on a long distance journey or vacation, traveling overseas or something. Then, on the following day, September 3rd, the last quarter moon happens in your 10th house of career at 10 degrees Gemini, 34 minutes. And I apologize if the goddess is in the way that you can't see that, but the last quarter moon phase happens in your 10th house of career and public standing. And so any last moment projects that you might have been involved with will come to their culmination. Then on September 4th, Mercury, which is in your 12th house of the subconscious mind and dreams, goes ahead and sextiles the moon in Gemini. So Mercury in Leo, moon in Gemini, 2 signs away, both very complementary, which is why this is a 60-degree positive aspect between your emotions and your mental intellect, or delving, being able to use your mind to delve deeply into within the 12th house, or no, substrate, I don't know. So this is very effective for fettering out emotionally any kind of dreams and or gunk in a positive way. In other words, analyzing. Oh, and this is, since this is your ruling planet, Mercury, analyzing what it could be positively, emotionally, for something that could benefit your career. That's how I see that. Then on September 6th, Saturn, transiting your 5th house of romance and creativity in Capricorn, stations direct. So now that's no longer retrograde at 6 hours 38 minutes. Or 11 hours 10 minutes. Then your ruling planet, Mercury, on the same day, September 6th, enters your sign. So Virgo, your ruling planet Mercury enters your first house of the self and body, along with the sun, which is currently transiting your house, giving you the ability to be less shy. Of course, right over here when it was in Leo, you were able to be less shy and more flamboyant in your speech. Here, now that it's in your first house, you're able to think of yourself and your body and your health. You're thinking of your health, but try not to worry too much about your health. I know, because I've got Virgo rising. I tend to worry a lot. Then also on September 6th at 12 hours and 44 minutes, Mars opposes the moon once the moon goes into your 11th house of friendships, hopes, goals, and wishes. So now with this 180, doing the 180 between your emotions and the action planet of Mars in Capricorn, this is a need to be aware emotionally of how you treat either your romantic partner in action, or emotionally how you maybe perhaps be a little overbearing in your perhaps friendships. Not necessarily overbearing, but maybe over nurturing perhaps. And I know I have a tendency to be like that. I tend to try to help others too much. That will kind of make you more aware of helping others too much. Because we can all learn to be a little more balanced, like Libras. Just, be mindful of it. Then on September 8th at 13 hours 32 minutes, Venus sextiles the moon, as Venus is here in your second house of money, and the moon comes into your 12th house and forms this pleasant, short but sweet sextile between your moon in the 12th house, again dealing with emotions concerning your subconscious mind or dream state, versus how you might be able to or may be able to tap into in a balanced sense. So this is going to be very positive. This will be your emotions, loving your values, and in a balanced sense, being able to form new values, as well as, oh boy, my phone's ringing. Sorry if I can't reach it or answer it. They'll have to leave a message. They'll have to leave a message. Okay. Okay, I don't know who that is. Okay. So I had a feeling that a phone call would interrupt our reading. Okay, so where was I? So the moon sextiling Venus. This will give you the ability to possibly, maybe even hopefully, tap into, almost in a psychic sense, as this is the Piscean house, possibly winning lotto numbers. Hopefully, you never know. Then on September 9th, the new moon occurs in Virgo, so in your sign, and goes into your first house of the self and body at 17 degrees exactly. So there is a need to form new structures or go within and discover who you are and take care of you instead of always others. You instead of others. This gives you the ability to take care of yourself and your body. And from the moon in the 12th, giving you the extended ability to perhaps meditate. And then also on September 9th, Venus now leaves your second house of money and enters your third house of communications in Scorpio. So that happens at 9 hours and 26 minutes. Then on September 10th at 15 hours and 14 minutes, Mars trines the moon. And by the way, since the moon takes 2.5 days to trip around per sign, 2.5 days per sign, the moon is still traveling through your first house, and then the new moon in your sign, Virgo, trines Mars in Capricorn in your fifth house of romance and creativity, creating the ability to emotionally harmonize in new ways in acting or being yourself in romantic situations, or maybe creating new creative projects for yourself. Then on September 11th, Mars then leaves your fifth house and goes into your sixth house of health, work, and service given in Aquarius. So Mars goes into your sixth house now at 0 hours 57 minutes. Then also on September 11th at 22 hours 59 minutes, Pluto retrograde in your fifth house in Capricorn squares the moon. Once the moon goes into your second house of money and what you value. So now with this somewhat challenging 90-degree square between your emotions and the deep outer delving planet of Pluto retrograde, there is a need to be more discerning as to and more cautious perhaps in spending money toward your romantic or with your romantic partner. In other words, not overdoing it. Then on September 12th, Jupiter sextiles the moon. Jupiter sextiles Pluto. Pardon me. Jupiter in your third house of communications sextiles Pluto in the fifth house. So from the fifth to the third houses, once again, there's lots of sextiles in the month of September. So Jupiter largely positively sextiles Pluto retrograde, creating lots of communication in positive ways where you can fetter out or delve deeply into, or you'll be possibly communicating. Oh, and since Pluto is Scorpio's ruling planet, now you see how there's like this tie-in. So you will be largely communicating. You'll be communicating a lot and in very positive ways with and through your romantic partner. Then, on September 14th, the Sun sextiles the moon. Once the moon, here we go again with yet another sextile. The moon sextiles the Sun once the moon goes into Scorpio in your third house of communications. A lot to do with communications, and since you are the sign of, since your sign is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, you really have the ability to open up, and it's almost like with Scorpio on the third house cusp, there's going to be like perhaps even a lot of psychic proclivities. Then on September 16th, 2 days after that, the Sun squares the moon once the moon goes into your fourth house in Sagittarius. So Sun square moon, something to do with keeping yourself in check in your home. So emotionally you'll be there might be some irritations. So then there is the first quarter moon, which subsequently happens right after that square at 24 degrees, see, toward the end of, or the east side of the house. So 24 degrees, Sagittarius 2 minutes is when the first quarter moon happens in your fourth house of the home. Then on September 19th at 17 hours 11 minutes, the Sun then trines the moon So from your first to your fifth houses, your emotions will be in harmony with you, Virgo, and how you are. Because you've been doing a lot of work on yourself. Then on September 21st at 17 hours 14 minutes, Jupiter squares the moon. Once the moon goes into your 6th house of work, health, and service given, and squares the moon. A lot of communication and sextiles this month for you, Virgo. So something to do with largely emotionally communicating in some maybe technological way, as the moon in Aquarius and now Mars there in Aquarius, versus something to do with maybe neighbors or siblings, short distance travels. There's going to be maybe frustrations. Okay? Then, on September 22nd, Mercury leaves your sign. Your ruling planet Mercury leaves your sign and enters Libra in your 2nd house of money and what you value. And then on the following day, and that happens at 3 hours 41 minutes. Then on the following day, the sun leaves your sign and enters, the sun leaves your sign and enters Libra, gearing toward the fall. The sun moves into Libra at 1 hour and 55 minutes into the day on September 23rd, giving you a more balanced approach in how you think and how your overall soul feels at that point. Then on September 24th at 5 hours and 27 minutes, Jupiter trines the moon. When the moon goes into your 7th house and opposite sun sign of Pisces. So now with this very harmonious trine between the moon and Jupiter in your 3rd house of communications, you most definitely will have quite a bit of psychic, emotional, loving, as this is your sub-ruler. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but it also rules, this is our sub-ruler. Oh, excuse me, that's Pisces I'm referring to. I got confused there. I'm Pisces, and I got all my planets in the 7th house pretty much. Okay, so the moon harmoniously trines Jupiter in Scorpio. But this will give you a lot of ability to psychically tap into, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the ability to harmoniously know who and what you can trust. You'll know who is your friend or something, perhaps. Your neighbors, in other words. The 3rd house deals with neighbors. And so you'll be able to harmoniously interject with, because this is the 7th house of others and the 3rd house of communications. I'm getting a little lost there myself. Okay, so now On September 25th, it's hot in here and I can't turn my fan on, otherwise it will be very noticeable. You wouldn't want to hear that. It's loud. Okay, on September 25th, the full moon occurs at 1 degree Aries, 60 minutes in your 8th house of others' resources. So the full moon in Aries, the sun now in Libra, giving you the ability to perhaps ask for help from others and their resources. Okay, it's September 26th at 10 hours 29 minutes. Pluto squares the moon as it's still in its full state. Pluto retrograde in your 5th house now squares the moon. So from your 5th house to your 8th house, you now have the ability to have maybe perhaps a possible steamy romance, as this 8th house also deals with sex or sensuality, as it's Scorpio's naturally residing house. And however, with Pluto retrograde, there is a bit of a caution. Be cautious with your romantic partner. And finally, the final day of September 28th at 22 hours 37 minutes, Jupiter opposes the moon. Once the moon goes into your 9th house and makes the 180 degree, as I like to call, awareness point. This will give you the awareness between your emotional state concerning any kind of philosophy and or religion you're involved in within the 9th house, because that's what that rules or governs, versus largely how you communicate from the conscious standpoint. The conscious mind, the higher mind. And with that, Virgo, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. And now on to the artwork that I wanted to share with you in terms of, there's Leo, the lion. Now this is something, it was just a bee in my bonnet that I thought would be really cute. So as an additional bonus to your reading, and Virgo, you are, or your quality is mutable, as in flexible. Your element is Earth. Your ruling planet is Mercury, like I've been stating in the reading. Your anatomy is the intestines, the liver, the pancreas, the gallbladder, the lower plexus, and upper bowel, or large intestine. Your key phrase is I analyze. Your glyph is the spelling of the Greek word for virgin. So that's your glyph, is the spelling of the Greek word for virgin. And your ruling house is the 6th house of work and health, and your opposite sun sign is Pisces. So with that, I would like to go ahead and pull out my handy dandy colored pencils. And I'm going to find, let's see, just your basic brown here. This almost resembles the chaff of wheat as I kind of tried to pull the hair. Let's see. And this book isn't for sale. It's just my little added artwork that I wanted to add to your general reading. And I will continue to add to this in the following month's reading. So in October, I will continue to just color on camera. This is just really, it's cute. I think it's really cute. This is just really something simple and to the point as far as, and oh, I'm sorry about that, the glare. That sunbeam is coming through. See, I wrote Virgo, the Virgin. And see, this is the difference between my handwriting, it's very fancy and squiggly, versus trying to write it out. This is my shorthand and this is my longhand. And I just wanted to point that out, that this is... Anyway, so you get the idea. A little nostril there. Okay. So, with that, I hope you will feel free to like, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and or subscribe to me. And I'm enjoying my 1-year anniversary, really celebrating, and my friends are taking me out and we're just all having fun. And so, yeah, I will see you in October. But for your month of September, and if you have your birthday in this month, I wish you a happy birthday as well. Have a wonderful September, Virgo. Bye for now.